Hello. Welcome back to Terror and Touchdowns. This is going to be a short episode, but a short episode is better than no episode because I'm trying to be true to my word and start doing this more regularly. And the only way to do that is when I get any amount of time to jump over here and knock out an episode. Welcome back to Terror and Touchdowns. Still working on a lot of things. I'm working on the lighting. Got a bald head. It just reflects like the sun. So I've got to figure that out. I've tried the ceiling fan light. It's too bright. That's as low as those lights go. So bear with me. I'll figure it out. Still working on the mic. I go back and listen to my episodes. There's still too many peaks and valleys, too many pops. Maybe I'll figure it out. My son just put out an entire album. He knows how to master stuff. Maybe he'll impart that wisdom upon thee. But until he does, you get what you get. And what you get, as I've said many times, is very proud amateur Terror and Touchdowns, D. Ritchie. Why is this going to be a short episode? Because I saw a movie I didn't really love. But that's not the only reason. I couldn't do this earlier tonight because I have priorities. And my priorities on Monday nights are American Ninja Warrior. And next Monday night is the season finale. So I couldn't miss tonight. And I couldn't miss Sunday night, even though it was a rerun. So that's why I had to wait till right now to record. Why else? I went to see a double feature. Flicks Brew House, I've told y'all, right down the street. Went to see a double feature. My son, Hayden, the same one that put out the album, you should listen to it if you would like. I will tag it in the description if I can ever figure out how to do that. My son went to see End of Oak Street at the drive-in, which is down the other direction of the street, a few weeks ago, and he said it was not very good. Well, I'm trying to get my Flicks Brew House movie count up because if you get to 30, you get to take somebody for free for a whole year. You get free popcorn for a whole year, all this cool stuff. So I was like, you know what? I want to see Insidious, but I need to go see more than one movie. And I want to eat lunch down there because I go on long runs on Sundays and I reward myself after a long run with actually eating. And I was like, so I'm going to go do a double feature at Flicks Brew House. I'm going to go knock out 2 movies. So I went to see The End of Oak Street first, I think like at 11:30, don't really remember. And then I followed that up with Insidious. Now, I used to go to multiple movies in a day all the time. Me and one of my friends, we used to walk in, and back in the day, I'm sorry, I apologize, but we used to sneak in. We'd buy the first ticket, then we would sneak in the rest of the day. We would go like into the bathroom in between movies, and we would turn our hat from frontward to backward so they couldn't recognize us. Yeah. Little did I know they just didn't really care. But you always check the times. Those of you who have seen more than one movie in a day, you got to make sure the times work out. But when you can make them work out, I always go see the movie I'm looking most forward to second. That's why I had Insidious second. I did not expect to like The End of Oak Street, House at the End of Oak Street, whatever it's called. Hayden not liking it made me expect to not like it even more because Hayden's got really good taste in movies. So I sat down for End of Oak Street thinking I'm going to kill time before I go to the movie I really want to see, which is Insidious. Shocker, I really enjoyed The End of Oak Street. Now, I think a lot of that comes down to expectation. I've talked about this on here before. I'm really bad about getting my hopes super, super high and then being disappointed when I go to the movie. The opposite is also true. In this case, I had my hopes super, super low, and I actually enjoyed the movie. About an hour in, I was like, when is this going to get bad? But it's only an hour and a half, so at that point, I was home free. But you're not here to hear about The End of Oak Street. Not a perfect movie, but it's a good summer popcorn movie. Reminded me of the old 80s movies that we used to go watch back before we had seen everything. Like if that movie had come out in like 88, we would have thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Unfortunately, Steven Spielberg has made dinosaurs look really real, even though the dinosaurs in End of Oak Street look completely different and they're pretty cool. But you're not here for that. You're here for Insidious. But I had to bring up End of Oak Street because for whatever reason, I ended up liking End of Oak Street more than I liked Insidious. Now, I don't remember the subtitle. Out of the further, maybe? Into the further, away from the further. Y'all are going to watch this turn touchdowns like he's supposed to like scary movies, but I'm on a streak of doing reviews of ones that I don't really care for. Did Evil Dead Burn last? Doing Insidious this time. Now, here's my history with Insidious. I saw the original in the theater. I think that was like 2010, 2011, sometime around then. And I liked it okay. But I saw Sinister either 1 or 2 years later. And for some reason, Sinister and Insidious always are in my head at the same time. Like if I think of Insidious, I think of Sinister. If I think of Sinister, I think of Insidious. No idea why. They didn't come out at the same year. They're not remotely the same kind of movie. They're both one word. That's a pretty crazy word that I don't say Sinister a whole lot. I don't ever say Insidious unless I'm talking about the movie Insidious. But I liked Sinister more than I liked Insidious. Again, they're not related whatsoever. But ever since then, every time an Insidious sequel has come out, my brain goes, well, I wish it was Sinister. Even though Sinister got one sequel, Sinister 2, and obviously, if it was as good as people think the Insidious movies are, I would not have been watching the 5th or 6th Insidious sequel. I would have been watching the 5th or 6th Sinister sequel. But it didn't work out like that. So instead, I was watching the Insidious, almost said Sinister, the Insidious sequel. And again, I had just come out of the Oak Street, took about a 20-minute break, went out to my car. The people at the theater are like, what's this guy doing? I'm like, I bought a ticket. I'm old now. I don't sneak around. I don't try to sneak in theaters. We're all good. So I sat down. Of course, I like watching the pre-shows at Flick's Brew House. They do the same thing that Alamo Draft House used to do, where they show like clips for the first 30 minutes before. I didn't sit through the first 30 minutes of Oak Street because I didn't get there in time of the clips. But I got there in time for the full thing. And so I got to refresh myself with the Insidious series, with the family, with the son. I'm not going to say any names because, again, I didn't plan much for this. I'm just wanting to get an episode out there. But I do remember all the plots of the oldest Insidious movies. You had the family. I know Rose Byrne was the mom. Patrick Wilson was the dad. I don't remember who played the son. Here's my history with it, though. I liked the first one. When I said I didn't like it as much as Sinister, I think the first Sinister is a fantastic movie. So because I liked it more than Insidious is more of a compliment to Sinister than it is negative about Insidious. I feel like I've seen a lot more movies that are like Insidious than I have movies that are like Sinister. Insidious does not feel as original as some people believe it is. Now, let me say this. I say this on all my episodes. I ain't here to knock nobody. If Insidious is your favorite movie franchise, more power to you, man. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Friday the 13th is mine. And if you didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s and you threw the first 6 Friday the 13th on, which I think are absolute classics, you would be like, man, that's the guy that has a horror movie podcast. I love him. I just do. I love Halloween 6. Very few people do. Halloween 666, The Curse of Michael Myers. It's one of my favorite ones. I watch it every Halloween. So I'm not knocking you for liking it. This is my opinion. And unfortunately, we live in a world where everybody has to bash each other's opinion. That ain't me. If you like Insidious, I'm glad you like Insidious. I thought they're okay. I like Lin Shaye's character. I like the boy. I liked the family dynamic of the first one, which stretched into the second one, and I liked it as well. I have no memory of watching the third one, even though I've seen them all. And then there was one about a lock or a key or a safe. Don't remember that one either. There may have been another one in there before the red door. I liked the red door, if I remember right. And again, the red door kind of harkens back to the earlier ones where we're back talking about the family. So I went into this not thinking it was going to be a great movie, but thinking it'll be a fine movie. Just thinking I was going to like it more than the Oak Street movie. Well, I was right on the first two. It's not a great movie. It's a fine movie. but I didn't like it as much as I liked Oak Street. But it was, again, probably because I was expecting to like it more than Oak Street, and I wasn't expecting to like Oak Street at all. That was probably my problem. I should have gone in expecting to be bored, because that was, to me, the fault of Insidious. Now, there's some really good set pieces, pieces to the movie. First off, all the performances are fantastic. One of my favorite guys is in it. Again, I knew his name yesterday. I don't know his name today. It's really hot in my house right now. I didn't turn the air conditioner on before I started this, so I'm kind of like, panicking in my brain. But he was also in Nope. I think he was Angel in Nope. I think he's fantastic, and he's good in this. I thought the girl that played the daughter is fantastic in this. I thought the lady that played the mom is fantastic in this. And it's got a lot of good visuals. Insidious always has good visuals. The old people, you've seen a lot of them in the trailer. Like there's a lot to like. I just find Insidious movies to be fairly slow. And again, I apologize if you think they're the most exciting things in the world. And I'm not meaning they're supposed to be action packed. I watch every movie under the sun, and slow movies don't ever bother me. There's something about the Insidious movies that, even though there are cool visuals, even though there are cool sequences, that was the word I was looking for earlier, there's too many times in between where it just simply drags a little bit too much for my taste. Now, I really liked, they went back to more of a family atmosphere. They didn't go back to the original family. I don't even know if they mentioned the original family. I don't know if they mentioned the original son, the star from the old Insidiouses, but I think they understood why those movies worked, because I think we can all relate to either being a kid or being a mom or being a dad. And so we have this single mom raising this single daughter. We have this family trauma that the mom has experienced from when she was a daughter that she's really trying hard not to pass on to her daughter, which I really liked that part. There's parts with the flashlight I thought were really good. I think it just kind of loses its way when it's trying to tell the story. Now, let me backtrack. Speaking of sequences, those that know me know that I am extraordinarily claustrophobic. My sons, two things will bring about the absolute fear of God in me: claustrophobic environments and pickles. Well, I gotta check my phone. This has one of the absolute standout claustrophobic scenes. And you've seen most of it in the trailer. Like, they did a good job in the trailer. I said in my last Terran Touchdowns that I feel like trailers in this day and age give away too much. Well, man, they must have listened. They didn't listen. But not because any other reason, and not many people watch this yet. Maybe they will. Maybe it's going to grow. But there's a scene in the trailer where she's in the couch fort, sofa fort, pillow fort, whatever you want to call it. And you can tell it's like kind of surreal because she's going down all these corridors, and no pillow fort has that many corridors, and people are popping out. And then she sees the exit in the trailer. That person just like comes out at the very end. Well, she went into the pillow fort, and I was really proud of. If you've not seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's not the same. Like, the first part of the scene is the same that's in the trailer, but man, it goes to places that the trailer doesn't show you. And it goes to places that a claustrophobic guy like me can't handle. Like, it was rough. It reminded me, there's a scene in Nope when they're in the animal, UFO, alien, whatever you call it, and those people are kind of getting crushed as they get swallowed. It's like that, except it's pillows all around you. And I literally had to almost not look. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, I can watch all the blood, the guts, the gore in the world, but if I see someone in a claustrophobic environment, like, it's too much for me. We went to a haunted house this summer in San Antonio. They've got a year-round haunted house called the Scream Experience, one of those down by the Alamo. We went in there, and it's completely dark, and it was me and Hayden and Logan. And Logan likes scary stuff. Hayden likes scary stuff, but he doesn't like haunted houses. He doesn't like dark rides because he doesn't like the thought of somebody that he can't see being behind him. But there was a part of it, and of course we can't see anything, that you've got to go through it's like foam. And they tell you beforehand there's a claustrophobic experience in this haunted house. And we're pushing our way through there. And like, I know it's going to end. I know I paid money to go pretty much to a family, right? A family ride, place, event, whatever it is. So I know it's short, this claustrophobic area. I know this foam's going to end, but even knowing that, I freak out. Like I started going through it, and I mean, at first I was trying to, oh, boys, you're okay, you're okay. And after about 5 seconds of it compressing on me, I turned into a bulldozer, just getting through there as quick as I can. So that bothered me more than any other part of this movie. Outside of that, I thought that, again, I like a lot of the visuals. There, you've seen the lady in the trailer that's got the shotgun. And again, if some of even the ghosts are from earlier Insidious movies, I apologize. I did not go back and watch any of them before I saw the new one or for this podcast. Insidious movies for me are one and dones. And again, I am a repeat viewer. I love to watch movies over and over. I don't like Insidious movies enough to watch. I'm always going to give them a chance. I'm always going to give them my money. I'm always going to go to the theater to watch. But that's probably going to be the last time I see them. So if some of the ghosts, dead people, whatever you want to call it, spirits, are from the old movies, I apologize. I do not mean to disrespect you. But the lady in the car with the shotgun, like, she looks pretty cool. She's always walking around with a shotgun with this big, wicked smile on her face. So I read a review about it after I read reviews after I see it, and they said the movie was like going to a haunted house there in the way that it's kind of disjointed, but there's lots of good little sequences, set pieces as you go through it. I think that's giving it too much credit. Sorry. That would be if that's all it was, it would have felt really fast. It would have flown by. I probably would have enjoyed it more than I did. I literally almost fell asleep. Now, I'm old. I have trouble sleeping. I get up super early. So the fact that I almost fell asleep is probably more of a commentary on me and my age than it is Insidious out of the further, if I'm saying that right. But I was awake for Oak Street. So, the whole time. So if that kind of tells you the amount that it kind of drained out of me, like I was all in the beginning, and it just starts to drag to the point that I'm like, man, I could truly take a nap right now. Now I didn't, I don't think. If I did, I don't remember it. But if there's a part I missed, it would be because I fell out for a minute. But yeah, this is not a spoiler episode. I don't remember enough about it to spoil it for you. Like I said, if you like the Insidious movies, I think you're going to like it. If you're like me and you're kind of blah, ho-hum on the Insidious movies, I'm betting you're going to feel a lot like me. Go see it. Why not? It's a scary movie. It's a horror movie. They need our money. I'm a believer in that. Support people that make the kind of art you like to watch, because if you'll keep giving them money, they'll keep making it. I say this all the time. I've got people that laugh at me because I will go see anything. I plan to see Buddy. That's my next one. I went to pay money to go see the Ice Cream Man. Like, I don't care. I'm trying to think if there's any horror movie or franchise, horror related, horror adjacent, that I won't go to the theater to see, because I want them to keep making it. Like all these people that are like, oh, they don't need to make another Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, they do. Until I'm dead, they need to make another Friday 13th. They need to go ahead and do what they're going to do with Halloween. I've read a lot of things. I've read maybe a TV show, maybe a movie, maybe a reboot, maybe a requel, maybe a sequel. I don't care. I'll be there. And that's how I am with Insidious. There is no doubt in my mind that there will be another one coming in a few years. You know, the first three, I think, came out like 2 or 3 years apart, and then they waited a bit. Am I right? Am I right, Insidious people? They waited a bit, and then they kind of brought everybody back, and then the Red Door was not too far away from that. So my guess is, and man, Obsession has reminded all of the movie industry, what we all already know, the horror community is gonna show up. We're gonna come see your movie. It's like they forget that all the time. Horror movies are cheap and they make a lot of money because people like me are always gonna pay. And it's like every few years, some horror movie does so good and they're like, oh, we need to make more horror movies. And I'm like, man, we never went away. Make them, we'll go. So I expect there to be more Insidious movies. And I expect that I will pay money to go see it. And I expect that I will feel the exact same way I felt at the end of this one. I texted my friend as soon as I was done with it. And I don't remember my exact words, but it was just blah, subpar. I came home that night because college football hasn't started. It starts Saturday. Go Florida State Seminoles, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, New Mexico State. It's going to be a good year for Florida State. Every year before the season starts, I say they're going to win the national championship. Well, if you've watched Florida State the last few years, you know that's not the case. But we're still going to be optimistic. But anyway, since there was no football on this weekend, when I got home, I was looking for something to watch that night. And I had seen Strangers Chapter 1 and Strangers Chapter 2. And I keep waiting for Strangers Chapter 3 to be on one of the streaming services, but they're doing the same thing they did with 1 and 2. They're taking forever. It's like they're playing with me. It's like they're messing with my brain. Like, we know you want to watch this. We also know you don't want to pay for this, but we're just gonna dangle that carrot until you finally give up and you pay. So I paid. I actually had a Fandango credit, so I watched it. And I describe it the same way I describe Insidious. It was there. I understood Insidious a lot more than The Strangers Chapter 3 because I don't know that they knew what movie they were making. I feel like they were making 2 or 3 movies during The Strangers Chapter 3 and they just kind of were bouncing between cuts. But if you were to say, all right, Rich, you can watch The Strangers Chapter 3 or Insidious from the further, out of the further, I'm gonna flip a coin because I'm good either way. They're both whatever. And I'll do a Strangers retrospective at some point, but I'm just putting those together because I watched them in the same day. Neither one of them jumped out to me. Now, I will say this. One thing that Insidious movies, and I know y'all know where I'm about to go with this, one thing they will always have is they'll have Lynn Shay, Elise, I think is her name. Hey, Richie knew one of the characters in Insidious. She brings her A game every time. You can tell she enjoys doing it. You can tell she's proud, I feel like, to be a part of those movies. And, you know, again, I didn't do any rewatches, but I feel like her part is smaller than it's been in the last few. For some reason, I'm thinking, especially in the third and the fourth parts, that it kind of shifted the story to her. That may be wrong. But she has a real small part, but she's still amazing. She's still fun. Like, the very first words she says, it makes you smile. Because, I mean, she's not taking herself too seriously, but she's also making sure she gives Insidious her best. And, you know, all those older actors that, you know, they give to the horror world, I mean, these people don't have to. It's so funny because you hear all these stories, especially back in the day. Betsy Palmer, Kevin Bacon. I was listening to one just the other day. You know, people thought being in the old horror movies was like beneath them. And most of the time you read that the only reason he did this is because he needed a new house. The only reason she did that is because she needed money for a new car. And sometimes they even disown it. I was listening to a podcast on Ted White from Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, which is one of the top 3 of those movies. And Ted White's amazing as Jason, but he didn't want his name on the credits. I'm pretty sure he didn't want his name on the credits because he thought it was going to be a piece of crap. And they were what they were. But years later, all of these people are going to conventions and making a killing because of people like us. And so I think these days they get it. I think the Lynn Shays, I think they get it. And they understand that there is a specific group of people that are extraordinarily loyal to horror and to horror movies and to just the art of the movies that we love. And I appreciate that she embraces that, and you can tell. So, uh, like, you won't be disappointed. If you were disappointed and heard all in this, it's because she's not in it a ton. But she's in it. I mean, it's not like she has one little scene. She's in it enough that you get to enjoy her presence. So that was a plus. Uh, so again, I was all over the place with this deal, but I did want to get one more podcast out there. Uh, college football starts Saturday, so uh, I don't know when we'll do these. And this is called Terror and Touchdowns. My original idea was to balance horror movies and football, mostly horror movies. Occasionally put some college football out there, but I like it anyway because I grade movies on my football analogy. But at the same time, guys, I am a college football junkie. There's two things I love in life. There's more than two things I love in life because I love my sons. I love a lot of things. But two things that have made me happy since I was a kid are horror movies and Florida State football. But I don't just watch Florida State football. I just love college football. And that starts Saturday. My nephew graduated TCU, so he and his fiance are flying to Ireland because TCU and North Carolina play. So I'm going to watch that one. I think NC State and Virginia play. I don't think it's Virginia Tech. I think it's Virginia. So I'm going to watch that one. And then I'm going to watch my nose. My nose, I don't care if they win. I don't care if they lose. I don't care if they're 10-0 or 0-10. I don't miss them. And so I'll be watching them, and then I'm hoping there's a late night one. There's not as many games this Saturday, week 0, as there are next week. I'm saying all that to say, horror movie fans, that if I find Buddy in a theater, which I'm not sure if it's playing down the street, but maybe playing across town, that's my next one. And I will try to do like this, a pretty swift podcast after Buddy comes out. So all of you people who wait for Richie to tell you if you should go see it, you'll have that opportunity. As far as Insidious goes, it kind of goes with Evil Dead. If you like the Insidious movies, go see it. If you don't like the Insidious movies, don't go see it. If you're like me and you're just kind of lukewarm on the Insidious movies, go give horror creators your money so that they keep putting them out. As far as my rating, to remind everybody, tie game, and then you can win or lose by a field goal, which means it's barely on either side of recommend or don't recommend. You could win or lose by a touchdown, which is, it was pretty obvious who the better team was or who the worst team was, or you can blow them out or get blown out. Well, this isn't either one of those, so rest easy. It's not a blowout, but it also didn't get blown out. I have gone back and forth between losing by a touchdown or losing by a field goal or it being a tie ball game and going to overtime. I just can't give it that. I wish I could. Again, I like Lin Shaye. I'm glad there's a series that keeps putting them out. I feel like they did their best to put out a good piece of work. So no fault on theirs. It's just my taste. So I'm going to give a new rating. We lost by a field goal and a safety. It's one of those strange scores that you see scroll on the bottom of the TV and you're like, that's a football game? We lost 5-0, right? We played pretty good defense. They never scored on us, but the game was also, it never, if you were watching, it never really felt like we were the better team. So we lost 5-0. They kicked a field goal and they tackled our quarterback in the end zone for a safety. So that's my rating on Insidious Out of the Further. I think that's what it's called, The Further, the new Insidious movie. Started last Friday. I saw it quick. This is one of the fastest podcasts I've ever gotten out. Still got to get it uploaded, so this might be another week, but I think I'm going to be able to get it done tomorrow. Again, if you ain't got nothing to do, go see it. The next movie I plan to go see is Buddy. There's two things on the horizon that I'm super excited about. Halloween, the game. I was a Friday the 13th, the game, man. It's one of the best experiences of my life. I played it the night it came out when it was broke. I played it all the way till the night it went dark. I met some amazing people. I wasn't able to do any of this stream stuff back then because I couldn't figure it out. I miss it every day. But I do feel like Halloween the game is going to be a very close relative to the experience that I had with Friday the 13th the game. So I've already ordered my version. I'll be playing it the night it comes out. I haven't decided if I'm just going to do reviews or if I'm going to try to, I don't know how the youngins do all the Twitch stuff, and who wants to watch an old man do that? Maybe other old men. So we'll see. So we got Halloween the game coming out the 8th, the 4th for me because I bought the deluxe version. I think I need to go check to make sure. And then my franchise, Halloween. Friday the 13th has a TV show coming out. I believe it comes out October 15th. It's called Crystal Lake. I think they're putting all the episodes out at once on Peacock. I'll be there. And I will be a happy camper. I have missed my Friday the 13th franchise. I didn't love the Angry Orchard thing they put out. Like, I was glad to see Jason, but I'm like, come on. Like, we've been waiting so long for, in my opinion, one of the top horror franchises to come back. And that's what we get. So I'm glad we got a TV series coming out. I've heard they're working on a new game. Guys, I think I speak for a lot of people. I'd be so happy if y'all would just give me the old game back. I don't have to touch nothing. I'll even take it broke. It was broke all the time, but it was so fun. But I've heard they're working on a new game. Hopefully they're working on a new movie. But that's on down the road. Next time you'll see me, hopefully it will be Buddy. Again, I got to find it at the theater. Thank you for watching Terror and Touchdowns, and I hope everybody has a great week. Go Florida State. Scalp 'em Noles.